some stuff that I think are important to touch on it degree, but mostly I'll focus on how I organized my road to get this information back, what I'm sharing, into my life, and also sharing how I'm using it to improve my life, not just physically, but spiritually, and also maybe some ideas that I think about how we can help our community to rise again, to recover again from some of the challenges that we have in today's world. This ceremony here that we're doing, this language revitalization for Red Pheasant, Sandy is doing, and also the elders that are working with her to do, is going to require a lot of cooperation, a lot of help. To help each other. Not everybody has all the knowledge. Not everybody has the understanding of the only way or the right way. So it's always good to remember we have our beliefs. And sometimes when we get into differences, we go to our beliefs. I have worked with communities that struggle with this. I remember one community, they didn't want sweetgrass inside the school. They didn't want smudging. And they didn't want a pipe in there. And so the Elders Council were kind of wondering, what do we do? They turned to me, and I said, well, how many denominations you have here? And they said 7, about 7 or 8. Then I said, okay, we'll meet at this time, so-and-so at this time. And I gather all these people together and representatives from those denominations, please. Okay. Actually, I went and got the elder that we normally used at the school. I went and got Reverend Brown, the one that they told me to go get, and also Reverend and Pastor and all these names that they had. I went and got them all. I brought them to the school. And I asked them one thing. Can you tell the people why you guys put that incense like this in your church? Stuff like that. Why you do these things? And so they started telling the people, it's just to balance the area. It's to make sure that everything is good, to balance it out. They said. So everything is good. So each one of them turned, and I just had that question. I wasn't asking how they do to tell their story of their religion or anything. I was just saying, why do you this particular ceremony? Why do you do it? And so everybody had their explanation, and every one of them said it's to make the balance, to get that church ready and everything like that. Some of them do it in public, some of them do it before people get there. So I turned to my elder. Oh, come on, tell. He said, sweetgrass, suma. We call it miyakasikan. Mio kasikan. Some of them say that. But mio means good, balance. Kasigan is this sock. Kastamaso in a sock, you're covering this whole area, just like asigan. Just like the covering of something spiritual for this area, this space here. And so when everybody heard that, even some of the teachers that didn't want smudging inside the school, didn't want pipe ceremonies, once they understood this, that miyakasigan is the same thing as that thing they use to balance an area, to make it good for the ceremony that's supposed to take place. They started to change their attitudes. One of the teachers said, because they used to feel something, a spirit inside the classroom, and they come knocking at my door. Mr. Morn, I want somebody to come and smudge my room. We're feeling it again. Where's that elder that smudged it last time? When he smudged it, nothing was bothering us. But now the children are feeling it again. They're telling me, can you come and smudge my room? This was a Christian lady. She was the one of them that didn't want that before. So a lot of times it's just misunderstanding between these things. So you're going to have beliefs and challenges as you go forward. You got to deal with those with your community. And talk about these things in a good way. Not like Munyok, when they have beliefs, they want to fight each other over them. And then there's knowledge. There's different knowledges. A lot of people have connections and relations to other tribes and other people. And they got their ways. It's knowledge that is. We have to remember knowledge is something that is created here. Somebody taught somebody something. And knowledge is not just one way. This comes from many directions, like the old people say. Many directions. So to understand these knowledges and to be open, to be okay with somebody, the way they're talking about something, to be okay with it. Maybe it's not the same way you want to talk about it or else you understand it, but to be okay with it. And this is what makes life vibrate and is because we have all of these different understandings, these different songs, these different dances, this different way we communicate. Wouldn't it be so boring if we just have one English and we forgot everything? None of this. Nobody remembered what these elders are talking about today. Wouldn't it be a boring world where we're constantly in need for something to feed us because we don't know anything else, because we are addicted to the outside so much, we forgot what's on the inside. And that is our life and our spirit and our ancestors and the roots of our people. Some of these roots of our people, you got to gather them. This is how I brought my life back into balance. I shared it with my children. I shared it with the people I'm working with. Today, I'm sharing it with communities that I'm working with. The first stage is this. That's what I do. We did a pipe ceremony for you guys here. The second one, the physical now, that's the spiritual. This is the physical. You got to do spiritual things and physical things along together as you move forward. Somebody has to be responsible for that. Not everybody, but you got to choose somebody to be responsible. And the elders, they have to pray every day. There was a community here, a research done, 300 people. And the pilot test was, they asked 10% of those people. 10% is 30 people out of 300. And they told those people, we're going to monitor you for 3 years. 3 years we can open, and we're going to look at you and test you. And all we want you guys to do is pray. That's all I want you to do is pray. And 300 people, and you pray for your community. What is it that you want for your community? And that's all you do every day. And we'll pay you because we're testing this. After 3 years, they looked at the results. 85% improvement in their community, and right across the board. All it was is praying. I remember getting up in the morning, my emotion would be singing, Biwa Panoma. And I remember Sundances waking up and matuing kamutsik people, matikagi smutsik, praying. So, kihtia yawa casino, one of the rituals and ceremonies is to pray. See the guardian spirit, no come, pray for the grandchildren, all her lineage. Musum, to feel what her grandchildren and children are feeling and to pray for them every day. That's all we can do when we're getting old, because I can't even get up as fast as I used to a long time ago. I can't go serve the food now because my back gets tired when I'm serving. All I can do is start to understand is, holy man, we're not doing tatita, but all I got to do is pray now. So I find things that'll help me, make me feel okay where I'm at, and I do that job. So breaking the ground and preparing yourself. This is ground that came from the earth. Your meat and potatoes is from the earth. It comes from, the water comes from our mother's milk. That's our milk, the water. And the spirit is Nihiyawak. We're all Nihiyawak. We live in these places called Iskungana. Iskungana is just a place you live, but your whole territory is Treaty 6, Nihiyawmakia. You're not just limited to red pheasant. The entire Treaty 6 is Nihiyawaski, and they're all related. They used to gather in Cypress Hills. One of my teachers said, there would be 900 teepees gathered over there. And the people would get there, and they would say, Msao o mauti no. Uti no. Yohtig kikoy. It's boiling because there's so many different energies in that one space. That's why we call these places Utinawa, because they're unstable. You have so many people thinking different things, feeling different things, and doing different things in any given time. And so the energy in that area is not stable. So we call it Oteo, Utinaw. It's boiling. And the old people used to say, don't take your pipe to town, son. Don't take it there. It's not stable. And so the old people will tell you that. But a lot of people have to do it today. The old people understand that, and these people that carry those understand, but they have compassion. So they bring them into these spaces even though they don't want to help people. It's not easy to keep those sacred items. And sometimes we're ignorant into things we ask for. But they're, like I said, they're compassionate, these old people and these pipe people and these ceremonial people. They have compassion. And so that's what they promise the great Creator to help as much as they can everywhere. In return, we need to educate ourselves and stuff like that about this kind of stuff and language. And the way we do it is we have to break the ground and prepare, because this is the ground we live in right now and we're used to it. But we got to break this up. We need to start gathering knowledge from elders, knowledge keepers, grandmothers, do research on existing programs and supports of traditional practices of the Nihio, including language families that were related to, like the Anishinaabe and other Eastern. If we, this Imsag, Epi Chag, Umuma, Ipihchago mo mapigiskun. That's what Jerry Saddleback said to me. Ipihchago mo ma. Magais kiyayawaks kago yoma. Said he means language is vast. You will never know it in one lifetime. It's so vast. Even the concept of wakuhtu, and you can dedicate your entire life to try to figure it out. That's how vast just that one concept is, he said. And I started to understand, because only at that time I understood relationships. But then when I started to look at everything, the 6 other families that are nations, that iwakumaya, like the mineral nation, the plant nation, all of these nations, 6 of them, the 4-legged, the swimmers, the crawlers, all of these nations were related to them in energy. We're related to them in energy of life. Everything helps everything to live. Waskawihta, we call them the earth movers at the bottom here. It's the vibration that keeps life moving. Without them, nothing would live. We wouldn't live. So our people understood that. But today, people, the first thing they want to squash that insect right now because they have no understanding, because they're ignorant. And we didn't teach them that. Somebody else did. Yep.
Ever since I started learning about Wakotu, and I'm really conscious now of insects, where I never used to be, where I would squish them. But now I'm understanding that they have a purpose. And even though we feel that they're a pestilence, I know that there's their creation. And it's not up to me to decide whether or not I like them or not.
Yeah.
Or want them to be.
They understand. I think it's been about 10 years since the last time I killed a fly. Honestly. When fly lands on me, I just kind of, but I also talk to it. You have your space, I have mine. They don't bother you.
Okay, then I have to go home and talk to my flies.
Yeah?
Really?
Yeah.
I heard someone talk about how their grandfather taught them how to walk through a bunch of bees. And I thought,
Yeah.
some people,
Yeah.
like, that's all they said.
Yeah.
They were taught how to walk through a bunch of bees.
If you love things, it doesn't matter what things. Love is not the way we understand it in terms of our love is something that just having a respecting a letter life being, when it already knows that, it's more intelligent than you, it won't bother you. But if you have fear, it sees it, it understands it, and it'll come at you. And so it's everything like that, but most importantly, people learn that from dogs. If you fear dogs, they're going to bite you. If you don't fear them, they won't bother you. And if you don't believe me, I go to houses today and I just get out, even if there's big dogs, and I just walk, they just kind of look at me and just walk away. Because I have no fear for them. I used to fear them. One day, I went and visited my brother-in-law. He says, I wouldn't get out because his house, and he goes, Nisto, are you scared of my dog? I said, yep. He said, come in here. He did a prayer for me, did something in the rock and everything like that. At that time, I was kind of like a colonialized Indian. Okay, not believing nothing, this kind of. Anyway, I walked out. Nick said, forgot about it. I went and visited Orest Mirowski because I used to go visit him all the time. And he had this dog that used to run straight at me when I go visit him. So I was aware of that dog all the time. So Oris would have to come out before I go into this door. But this day, I forgot about the dog. And I opened the door, and right away, just charged me. I stood there looking at him, and he, boom, about right here, right in front of me. No, something stopped him. Then that's how it sounded. He sat down there, whimpered, and went back to his seat over there. Horace came there. Ralph, what the hell did you do to my dog? I said, I don't know. I didn't do nothing. I did nothing to your dog, honest, Horace. You see me. I'm just standing here. I said, yeah. Exe left that day. I went back there 2 weeks. You see that dog, Ralph? It's been sitting there for 2 weeks. It doesn't go anywhere now. We used to take him for walks. My son would take him on a walk. We had to put him on a leash because he was a crazy dog. He'd take off. We went and got him in that city, in the middle of the city one day because he took off. And he was like that. This dog is like 3 years old, and he's been like that. Now he's different. He just sits over there. And he walks outside with, and we don't need a leash. He just follows us. And I said, I don't know. I don't do nothing. But from that day forward, I can get out in the house. I'm aware of those dogs, but I have no fear for them. And they know, they walk away. But most people, when they're scared, and that dog will attack them right away. Horses are like that too. Anyway, that's the first thing I did. Could you move this? Oh, mawaya kumuti yad. After I started gathering, Yeah, I'll email this. I'll give somebody these PowerPoints to Sandy anyway. So the second thing I did, after I collected all this information, started looking at this language, how it works, not necessarily what it means. I started organizing it with resources in my head, people, programs, things like that programmed my mind, the people that have taught me, revisiting everything about what I understood and how I look at the world. I broke the ground, then I smoothed the process and started this process. The third thing I did was, I started taking the things that are really important in language, like wahkuhtun, witsanihtun, witsihituin. All of these foundational teachings that elders are always talking about, I figured those are the most important things I need to learn. And I started planting them into myself and my mind and head and everything. Just that's when they stopped. We went, I'm going to tell the truth from now on. That's why I said that to myself, but I failed that the third day. But it's after, I would say about 10 years now, I still fall down. Because it's so hard to walk that sweetgrass road with those grandfather teachings. It's so hard. It's so hard in this world to tell the truth, where you have to lie sometimes just to get help. It is so hard where you have to lie sometimes and step over somebody just to get that job. So in a world like that, it's difficult to follow that road. But if you can follow it and don't worry about so much about those worlds, it'll work for you, because you have maintained this. You have risen from this and balanced everything. And the more you balance yourself, the more you work on it, the better it is. you'll start to understand some of these things that have tormented you because people said this is who you are and this is what you're never going to be. That kind of lectures and those kind of kitahamawa that are negative to people and have suffered through the life because of Monia, the way he taught us, those will all fade away. And you'll start to understand that the Creator and His workers, you can't never count Creator's workers. Episagustik, they say that. Episagustik uguge, mamustawaganag. Yeah. Meaning you can never have enough numbers to count them. That's how many they are, our Creator's workers. So we only know a fraction of them, what we use for our lives. So once I started understanding that, I started planting this. The people are starting to plant the language and the knowledge into their community, went into the Pihtaokamekwa. Pihtaokamek is a pipe lodge. Pihtaokamek is a teaching lodge. That was the highest institution in our life, in our culture. This is where you heard the creation story. This is where you heard all your questions. If you had a question, how come we don't whistle at night, and what does that mean? This is the right place to ask it in that teaching lodge. Pihtaokamek. Yeah. Kamik, pihta is smoke. Pih inside. Tawa is kamik is the home. So it's a lodge. It was the highest institution in our culture. The old people, late Clayton Chief, told me the story of this. But so is others. I have little pieces here and there with the other knowledge keepers that I have worked with and crossed and listened to in ceremony. There's so much knowledge. You can't just learn it from one person. Because this language is so vast that it's like it's pieces of a puzzle that we're trying to put together. And so many pieces are missing in our community. That's why we have to look for them somewhere else sometimes. Some people have thought, oh, this is how we do it here. Nobody else is going to come in here and teach. That's the position they're taking. But they'll have so many missing pieces in that puzzle that you're trying to put together. Because this knowledge and this relationship, Nihiawak, is so many relatives. We are all related if you trace our lineage. Many of you people are related to my people and so forth in lineage. So, Nihiawak, I kind of look at them as pioneers because they come west and explored and made their way and pushed a lot of the people that were here before them to more into the mountains or else to the south, like the Blackfeet, the Assiniboine. You know, those people that lived in the mountains over there in Montana, Great Falls and those hills, those people. They used to live in this area here. We pushed them all the way over there. And so the stories that people used to tell me, these old people, how we pushed them is we banded with the Blackfoots and we pushed them all the way that way. And then we made a treaty on the other side of Sokichu and the Saskatchewan, South Saskatchewan. That'll be Blackfoot territory. On this side, it's going to be ours. And that's how it was. That's why we have for the Toscansipi. Toscansipi is Elbow River in Calgary there. Got a Cree name there because that's where the treaty starts this week. Yeah, no. So little stories like that I picked up, and so much more. So this is the third stage. Take what is in your elders' knowledge that's going to best serve you and start planting it into your community. You know, these things. It's a gathering process. So the final stage, and this might be like the future generations, what you guys are starting. The physical stage of planting knowledge and language, how it grows begins with children, to the elders, extending to the parents and to the relatives. 7 things that will be done for each one. The elders program, parents membership, there are 7 teepees, 7 ceremonies. Mirror the spirit world to nurture the growing of the language and culture. I don't know what that is there, but I got my computer. The 4th stage is nurturing. We call this maintenance. Who's going to maintain this language after you guys are gone? Who's going to continue it? It's your kids. It's the people, the young people. This one was done in the 4 pipes of balance, the male and female. Physical stage, maintenance of the language and culture through practice, tradition, ceremonies, stories. We cannot have it always as a process, a sophisticated process of the nihyo mind. It's the way we think about things that needs to change. And we need to think in spirit. And that's what I started with in the beginning, those symbols. How do you think in spirit then? It's what I showed you guys in the very beginning. What did people are calling it? The medicine wheel. And they're looking at the words and the meaning. Instead of the symbol, it's got 5 points, that symbol. And it tells you the colors and 4, what you're supposed to work on in that ceremony. Nihyo Magya, you should know that ceremony. Once you know that ceremony, then stohtamaon gayan, you'll have that triad thinking process of way of looking at the world. And everything is like that. But because we live in this culture today, hardly everyone lives today. And today is the most important. Not tomorrow, not yesterday, today is the most important space to live in. But if your mind is occupying, oh, I wonder where I'm going to get a job, where my money is, what am I going to do tomorrow, what am I going to do this weekend? Oh, those people did this yesterday, this happened yesterday. If your mind is occupied with that kind of stuff, then you're missing life. Because life is today. And that's why kihtieg, ano sumapagayawi kusya. Today is the only day that's been lent to you. We don't know about tomorrow. And so even that's a triad. Iniswin keeps you in the past and keeps you working for the future, and you never live today. That's what I found out after 35 years of going 9-to-5 job, sometimes 9-to-9, because I got to stay at the office at night. I lived my life like that. I never really lived. I missed my kids' life. I missed many ceremonies, many birthdays, many important family things I missed in my life. Now I'm hardly even connected to my home because I've moved around so much. When I go back home, those chief and council, I have to tell my people, my brothers, I didn't come to visit you to talk about people. I come to visit you. How are you, Nistis? Oh, I'm good. And it confuses them because that's all they do. And I tell them that you got to think about you and today and everything else that matters, not that stuff. That's what I told them. And I still tell them that today because I see it, because I go away and I don't hear nothing. I'm living in Spruce Lake among Moniac. I don't hear no politics, nothing about my people. But I miss them, so I go home. And that's all they do to me. That's the first thing they start talking about. And I say, hey, ho, ho, ho. I came to know how you are. And it stumps them because they don't know what to talk about. So it's to put these things back again that are important into our daily lives and our communities. It's right there in the language. And to processes of the new mind. Nachinikiwin is gathering to go get it. Do the protocols to go get what you need, the missing puzzles of your Cree language and your culture. Kiskinahomatuin, have some meetings and remind each other about the stories. Remind each other about how you're related. Remind each other stories that you have heard that have carried you, the important things that carried you in your life to get you to this point. Share it with your people. Share it with each other. When you do this kind of practice, wow, you'll trigger memory, blood memory. Trigger. You'll trigger that stuff. And that's what I'm doing here, where I'm talking a lot of stuff, and then people are coming up to me and say, oh, man, you just reminded me of something that and I said, yeah. I'm not teaching you. You know this stuff already. It's inside you. But this mind has gone to sleep. So that's all I'm doing is waking you up. You know, somebody did that to me. When I woke up and I understood what at least a little bit of what I'm talking about, it changed my life. And I want everybody to come to see that enlightenment and to see this, what our people seen. I seen it, and I want everybody to have that opportunity to go back to the language and the key to open it and to find out this, what we're talking about, my brother and I. Hekoma, kisti kiwin is a process where you start selecting the most important things, the pillars of your community, the grandfather teachings, the grandmother teachings. There are 28 of them when they put them together. And they both have connection up there and down here. And they're supposed to work continuously forever. It'll never end. We get lost. Our language never gets lost. We got lost. Iwansinia ituwag. So iwansi means you're walking this way one day and you're speaking Cree, and all of a sudden somebody leads you this way. That's all that happened to us. All you got to do is come back and get back on this. That's all. That's one Sinowin. You can get back to it anytime you want. But it's getting harder because we're getting less and less speakers and less people that know this knowledge, how this language works and what is it talking about and how was it given to us. The elders say, the Creator gave it to us. You know why? He says, because it's all in symbols. It's not in writing. We didn't create that. He didn't give us writing. He gave us symbols. And He gave us awareness. Nahakisuin. Nahakisuin. Inahahtain kikwe. You know, because you got these senses and this seeing and this knowing, and you've touched everything that there is to touch out there, so you know your environment. They call it nahahtawin. Nahahtawin. Nahakisuin is when you're very familiar with energy. My Musu used to sit there And there's a coffee, everybody's just living life, and they would say, Ma. When somebody said Ma back home, it means trying to listen real, it's something out there. I said that in a classroom, the people are talking, and even a workshop like this about a year ago, Ma, everybody's continued to talk. They don't know that language no more. I had to say, Ma, and still some people were talking. But the old people know. When the grandmother Mushroom said, Ma, in the house, everybody went quiet, even the children. What about Ka? What's Ka? Huh? Yeah. Or it could say, Ka. What is a short version of Ka-ki, kin? And somebody was lying, and old people would sit there, and I go listen to them at the wake. And that's where I used to go. When I go to the wake, I shake my hands and do what I need to do. And I look for those elders, and I go sit there, sneak in the back, and just listen to their stories and everything. And they would, just like they were competing. I was this close to a moose. The old people, Ka. They would smile with each other. Huh? That means a short version of Ka, ki, kin, it's possible. And it's a short version, Ka, ka. And then my uncle Jim, because he was one of the contestants there, man, all the time telling his stories. I went and touched his nose, and I said, Tan se musa. And then they all looked at him. They didn't even say Ka. They knew he was lying because they thought he knew they was lying. But my uncle's clever, eh? He said, Kikia, skin. The old people said to him, the old men, he said, No, ya tapui, you guys can do it too. Nitia Saskatoon, that park, that farm, animals, in Tokyo, and I touched his nose. Everybody started laughing. Okay, you, kikieke paskia, and he won. So, kiskitsoki, kisumto. Tell stories, tell dances, tell these things about the people. Your stories of the red pheasant people. That's the fourth process and stuff. And the gathering process. And then the last process is nakatoki win. Who's going to maintain this? Who's going to keep this once you guys are done? What are you going to leave your children? What is the most important thing that you want to leave those great-grandchildren of yours? Maybe you won't see them, maybe you'll see them. But what is it that you want to leave them for a red pheasant when they grow up there? I asked a question one time with the Maskikse in Enoch to those old people, and they said, Wako to win. That's what we want to leave them, to understand Wako to win. That's the most important thing. And then Onion Lake, they did the same thing over there. And the old people said, Wako to win. I went to Kihiwan and did the same thing. I asked the old people. They said, Wako to win. So it seems to be unanimous that the most important thing the grandparents want to leave their children is Wako to win, the knowledge of it, and the practice of it, and the maintenance of it. And the second thing I asked them is, what is the second thing then? Kiski misuwin. Kiskisitzik who they are, to remember who they are. People call it identity. Makakiski misuwin is to understand your energy, understand your language, understand nihio magia. Nihio, a perfectly balanced being. That's who you are. And the third thing they said is, because we're a little bit different from other people, even though they're speaking the language, we want to leave them nihio ituyuin na. Nihio ituyuin. Nihio ituyuin is language. That's the language. How we speak it in Red Pheasant, that's what I want to leave them. So they all said that. So Onion, same thing. They want to leave that for their grandchildren. How we speak the language in Onion Lake. And the last thing they said is, somewhere in this, you have to, we also want kiskinawaso kimuin. Kiskinawaso kimuin is guidance and counseling and mentoring. We need to counsel, mentor, and guide our young people. And I can't emphasize mentorship and guiding as very important, because teaching is all about the mind, and it's overloaded today with our people. We have stress, we have anxiety, we have depression. Even in the Western culture, they have 80% university students depressed. Why? Because inisun only goes like this, relays back and forth, until this thing cannot take it anymore. Nistoftamon goes like this. It goes in a circle. The heart is part of it, that education system. But what we're teaching them is causing this overload. And they don't want it no more, the children. That's why they don't want to go to school. That's why these young people are looking for something different. This is boring now. I don't want to sit in a classroom all day long. It's because of this stress. It's the stress, meaning we have transferred our stress to them, and they're carrying more today than we carried. There's no peace, because people are living yesterday or tomorrow. Nobody's living today. So, Yaguma, to think about that, who's going to guide these young people in the future, and to talk about what we're talking about today, the language and how it works and how you can follow it, that it is the key to balancing out your life and bringing a better world for your grandchildren to live in. We had that before. Before we got colonized here, we had this kind of life, harmony. We understood our environment and our relatives around us. We understood how to use and give and take. We understood how never to overuse anything. I used to go picking berries. I was never good at anything, but every once in a while, I didn't want to pick berries. I was so much into Western culture that I got bored with all this stuff, but I didn't know I was learning, and I'd be using them today to explain why we do these things. So here's up north, we have this berry patch. And my kukum and my mom and all these people, I used to go over there. The first year, they would pick here. The second year, they would pick here. The third year, they would pick here. And the fourth pick year, they're here. By the time the fourth year came around, everything regenerated utoma. And these berries were healthy again. That's how precise they were. Never pick your medicine, and never pick it in the same place. They already knew that, our people. And so this is the practices that need to come back, this kind of understanding. Before they used to go, not my mom and my sisters, they already had lost that. But maybe my mom prayed, I don't know. But they used to go 4 days, and put their tent here, and that's all they would do is pray before they picked, especially blueberries, because blueberries is what our blood is. That's where our blood comes from. We call these inimna. And the long name of that, Isminisin. Isminisin means it tells the story of how you multiplied in your lineage. Miniswin. Miniswin, minisa. Minisa. You hear the sound, minisa, miniswin, mischakasa. There are too many to count. You can't count them. That's what the word means. Isminisia. We are a vast people. There were times that we were countless, just like the hair. You can't count. And so, Miniswin is how you multiplied in this world. And our creation story, Jerry, one of our other teachers, tells that story of how we multiplied. Even Jim tells that story, how we multiplied. And so there are carriers of that knowledge, that creation story. Okay. Nga nagani ko tatama questions. Kikoy gispid kaya now. Or if you want to talk about something, or I can go into the relationship names and what they mean. A few of them anyways.
What about the teaching laws? Does anyone have questions about that? Does anyone remember?
There's a lot of people that don't know when a baby is born, it comes with a grandfather, their teachings when they were before born. I know a lot of kids I met and people telling me they had gifts.
Yep.
Even at 6 months old, they'll be praying or
Yeah.
and they grow up and then it goes away.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Think of it this way. A long time ago, the elders had the ability just by looking at a baby to know what they're going to be and why they're here. Many of those people are not here with us today. Many people cannot interpret the gifts of their children or their grandchildren. But every grandfather and grandmother used to have that ability to be able to interpret why their grandchildren is by looking at them. Nahasuin it's called. Nahasuin is when you're very aware of energy and you can read it. It's symbology. And so, like I had one elder come to look at my son when he was 4 years old. I was visiting him, and my son walked in, and he looked at him. He says, Ogemao. He said that. And I looked, what? And I thought, Chief? No. Ogemao. He said, that's all. And he just started talking about other things. They had that ability, yeah.
Because there's a lot of parents, mothers, they see their little grandkid or kid doing something that's out of the ordinary. They don't understand and they kind of brush it off.
Yeah.
They don't encourage that little one to
Yeah.
be,
Yeah. Because we've been told many things. We've been told many things about how we understand the world, how we understand energies, witchcraft. We have been told many, many things that has to put out that understanding or to put out that energy or put out that way of understanding life. But when you go back to it, what do you,
Think that spirit, that answer to restoring that
yeah,
protocol, that way of doing things
yeah,
is there?
yep.
Like,
Like I said, I can't teach you nothing. I can only lead you to the language door, and you got to open it. The language is the key. You're going to hear a lot of stories and a lot of interpretations and a lot of ways people understand this Nihiyahu, including my brother Jeff yesterday. Every one of us have limitations. Every one of us don't understand. Every one of us only trying to interpret this information the way we understand it. But there's no way that we can't teach you the way the language can teach you and how the way the Spirit can teach you once you walk in there and start walking that life. We can't give you that. We can point only to the direction. But it's up to you to open that language door and to learn what I'm talking about, the ability to talk about what I'm doing. To interpret this language, that it's not a linear language and it does not work the same way as English. To be able to understand it, that it works with three. And the Spirit is always a part of it when you speak. Ka pigis koi no ma. Ka nihiyo itatat man ki koi. Ka mam skut taman ki tan sis poksih tain ki koi poksih taman. Those are powerful words when you speak. And it can change your whole environment. It's like that prayer I told you about this morning, the elders that were tested for 3 years, and all they were doing is praying. And 87% of their community changed. It's that powerful, this language. But you got to know how to use it. You got to know how to use it. When they took their language, okay, when they took their language and started converting it to what you see today as the written, they call it kihtiyag. What is anskanihchigyun is when you take the Spirit out and you make it into physical matter. Kaya masnahamuk kituag. Don't write our language. Don't take pictures of me. Why are they saying that? Because they're saying, don't take my Spirit out of me. Because if you write this language, you'll take the Spirit out. And when people read it, and that's the only way they understand life, you have created hardship for them people. That's how they used to talk. It's okay to write things for the beginning learners. It's okay the way the teachers are teaching this. I love that there's many people trying to teach the language, land-based and everything, but I call it beginning language. Because they're just starting to learn how to speak this language, watch how to do things. Understand that Mistikwag are all the trees, and Mitus is a popular tree. Minnahik is a pine tree. Iskowahtik is a birch tree. All of these trees have their own names and their own processes. But today, Nihiok say, mystic. Any tree they see, they mystic. Well, yes, they're all mystikwag, but they have a name just like you. We're all Nihiok, but we have a name. And that's our relatives out there, the trees. They all have names. All those trees, every one of them have, those plants have names. And they have a story to tell. And there's many stories that our people talked about. All of these things out there, they had a story, a creation story. To piece that together, it's going to take you several decades because the language is so vast. So don't be in a hurry. It's going to take several generations to restore and to put this puzzle back together. Not only just for red pheasant, but to even understand the idea of how they understood the Pahamatuan. You live in an ASCII kan. You're not individuals to anybody. You are Treaty 6 Nihiyawak. The whole territory is yours. Not just ASCII kan. That's a munyo. That's why they call it a skika, and they use ko na magaw, yeah, so we can dwell there with peace and just live in. But if we want to hunt, we can go anywhere in this territory. The elders say to me, I can go across this territory and go to any ceremony, and nobody can say nothing to me because they do not own ceremonies. It's the Creator that gave them to us. So if somebody is trying to own a ceremony and sending people out, that old man said, Moya, I can go into any ceremony and nobody can send me out because we're not the ones that balance and measure them. It's the Creator and His helpers. We're only servants. And so this is how they talk to me and all these things. And to understand them that way, you have to you have to follow it. You have to learn it. And it takes years and decades, in my case, decades of doing this, to get to this point where I'm comfortable to talk about. There are many things I've learned that I don't have a right to talk about, and I don't talk about them. Because some of them are ceremonial knowledges, and I didn't do those ceremonies. In any ceremony that I've done, I had to do it 4 times. That's why I'm able to talk about it. But many ceremonies I can't talk about. I can't talk about woman's knowledge here, or Pikanawasun, and say this is how it is. I'm not a woman. Not my place to talk about that kind of stuff. It's the woman's place to talk about Opikanawasun and child rearing and all that stuff. Nahapuin, that's where napiwin, how I can utilize the land, how I can get the resources, how I can get work to provide for my family. I can talk about that. And so it's these places and things that we need to put back in place. And kawitshituya. This is why we call Niwichiwagan is your friend, the person that travels with you. Nuigimagan is the one that lives with you and travels with you. Nuwahkumagan is a person that is related to you in spirit. Nitsan is one that are related for blood. Nuwehkukin is hospitality to the people. You give them your best blanket, your best bed, and everything else to satisfy their being. Because if you do it right, the one that sits with them, the spirit that is unlimited to what he can do, he sees you. And if he's pleased, just because the being is pleased, he'll bless you. That's why we do hospitality. That's why we give the best to our visitors and how we recognize these messengers in a good way. And we try to treat them with the best hospitality there is. We want those blessings that they bring. And so we treat them like that. We put them up there. In that day that they're visiting, we say these, okio, you know, Winigan kamitsu, he'll eat first. You go sleep over there, he'll sleep on your bed. You got the best bed. So everybody would be scattering around when somebody came in to visit. The old people used to do that, eh? Today, you gotta go sleep in the couch over there. And the kids are crawling on them. Anyway, I'll stop there. I want to go into these. There's a few of them. So, Nuhtawi is a short version for Nuhtawi Tutamag. Which means he speaks for me spiritually and physically. We went through that already. So that's the one we call Father today. His job is to speak when you become a Nuhtawi, to speak on behalf of your children, spiritually to the Creator and His helpers, but also physically to people here. Nigawi gusin, nigawi. Ita pematsuin gawi gusianot. Where life was loaned through for me. Nigawi is a short version of nigawi gusin. It's on loan to me, this life. Because one day, these elements that are loaning this life to me are going to go home, just like the story of my mother. Netanis Kuchaban, we call them Netanis, is the first link. Nusim is the middle link, and Chapan is the final. And we put them all together because whenever you have a daughter, you know you're going to have a great grandchild. There's a really good chance. And we call them Netanis. This word, Netanis, comes from that. When the trees, this root here, it connects to this other tree that makes these things grow and connects to this tree and makes this tree grow. All of these trees are connected. This is what we call Netanis Kopitsigan. Netanis. It's links. He links life for me. Netanis. Netanis Kopitsigan is the final extension because she can produce, her child can produce a grandchild, and so forth. That word comes from the roots. A lot of our mushroom words and other words like that come from those roots. Some of them come from the branches, like netihkwatim, and some of these words come from other places, like nichakus. And we say, Nietzsche, Nichakus. Nichakus is, they say, what does that mean? In English, it means, my fellow star being, how are you? Nietzsche Achakus is, me and you are stars. And so we call our sister-in-law Nichakus, my fellow star being. Yeah.
Is it on the mail? My brother's daughter would be my daughter's
Kusim.
daughter. Like the relationship way, like male and female. Like my sister's kids are my kids, and my brother's kids are my what them were.
Yeah.
Them. Like they're different.
So, what she's asking is the female lineage, how we understand again and how we kept our menisuin, how we multiply, is maternal. And so it was the maternal women that kept lineage. Utatapi kapsnoon, we call it these clan systems. We had them before, according to some of the elders that have talked to me. There are others that say that we didn't have clan systems, but you got to understand this world is not just 100 years old. It's not just 1,000 years old. It's many thousands of years old, this language. And it spans 3 worlds over. We're talking millions of years here, this language. So you cannot just believe one person. You got to take a look at Kamamtanihtis Tamaswin. and to think about these things. And we have this word in Cree, which convinces me that we had clans. So the word is called Otatapikapsinuin. Otatapikapsinuin is this lineage, this count of how we multiplied the clan systems. So the clan systems got so big one time, past long time ago. And you couldn't go around the country and think that you can go snag any girl out there. So you go say, hey, how's it going? My name is Ralph. What's yours? What clan are you? Bear. Oh, I'm from the Bear clan too, so I can't bother you. Even if it's Navajo or anybody. Because the clans, the spiritual clans, the links, they're up to 40 connections. Here it's only 4. Up there in the spirit world, it's up to 40. So the spiritual clans are bigger than the clans that we work with here. And so the women used to keep the clan system. Otatapikap sinuin. Otatapikap. Otata. Kitsi. Kitsiapi. Otatapikap sinuin. This is the lineage here. So one of the challenges for Wakuhtuin that we need is to uplift our people so they can speak for themselves. When a person is suffering with trauma, with abuse and stuff like that, when they have not been fed and they lived in poverty, when they have not been listened to, they feel they're struggling every day. They can't get to their heart. If you cannot get to your heart, you can't speak for yourself. Many of our people are stuck over here. And the people that are speaking, they're not speaking from the heart for these people. And they're not lifting them. Because those people are stuck in poverty of the mind, of the sicknesses, of the physicalness. And they need people that speak from the heart. When you speak from the heart, this opens up. And when this opens up, you can think for yourself. When you're stuck over here and you're suppressed with poverty and you're struggling all the time and nobody wants to listen to you and you're scarred up with traumas, that's the people that the Creator wants you to speak for. Even in the church, they say, only the meek will inherit. So these are the people, most of them are children, most of them are single, most of them are old people. I've seen in the last few months with the cows and plows where people are stealing their mushum and kukum's money. They borrow their card and they don't come back for a week or two. That's the kind of thing that needs to be taught, and we need to speak for these people. And it's happening. So, Nichin Natchakus, my fellow star being, we have another word here, Nistao. Nistawistamag. They used to laugh at their Kistao means, it's the one that's always walking ahead and scaring all the animals. And these brother-in-laws would laugh at him. Nistao, they say. Because he's always ahead here, scaring all the animals here. And they would say, ha, Nistao. Usaikis, scares all the animals. So it's kind of like a humorous name, but you see these old men, Nistao. Oh, yeah, everybody's always fighting and hitting each other, playing with each other, eh? This Kistawag. And that's what it is to have a good relationship with your brother-in-law. You know? So, but this is for the female, Nichakus, your sister-in-law. Nimis. Ni mam si tutawaw. Kasige na maud. Her experience and her knowledge. Ni miss ni mam si tutawaw. Isige na maud. Eka, kasige na maud. So they say, nimis, nisim. They'll call nisiga hamawaw. This knowledge. Nimam si tutawaw. It depends on her, my older sister. Nisi miss. That's the one that's younger than me. Whatever I get knowledge, I pour it back to Nisi miss. And that's a woman, the female Nisi miss. When I say Nisim, I'm talking about my brother. When I say Nisi miss, I'm talking about my sister. Today, people are mixing things. They say nusisim for both genders. Did you know nusi is a female? Nusi is a female. And the Cree speakers here know that. Negosisim, I heard grandmothers say that. Negosis, negosisim. Nusisim is they used to say it's female. But now we use it for both. Because somewhere down the line we lost what it is, the puzzle we lost. And so that's what I'm talking about. There's lots of puzzles here that you have to put together because our language is very precise. It's pinpoint accurate, pinpoint accuracy. We say that we asuyatama. We asui when it's pinpoint accuracy. That's what people say law today. We asuyun, but it's a process. Pinpoint. It's like an arrowhead. We aswataman. Achusisawa, this arrow. And the Spirit is following, is what you're following. That's what that law is, the Spirit. And when you follow the Spirit, it's pinpoint and accurate. There's no mistakes. That's what it means. We are suiwin. Nisim. I talked about that to your younger brother. And there's other female like Nusisim, Nuchawis. Maybe I'll talk about this one. They used to say to us, Kuchawis, Kuchawis. But when your father passes away in Augustus, but you don't call him Nuhtawi if your father's alive. But if your father goes, that's the one that takes over that job. But for now, Nuhchawis is the proper way. Nikawis for the aunt is the proper way, not Nikawi. If you say Nikawi to that person, then you're telling people that your mom is gone. So it was pinpoint. That's what I mean. You can't use this word language loosely and say it's okay, because it's so accurate descriptions. And it monitors itself in terms of the laws that it needs. So, wait, I'll go change over here. I don't know what the time is right now. You want to take a 5-minute break? Okay.
Hello, hello. Can everyone hear me? Yeah. Can everyone hear me? In the back there? Okay. So we had a pipe ceremony on Monday, and it was to bless this journey that we're on. And I was told to give a certain amount of cloth and tobacco and smudge. And this is for each of you, your lineage, to carry on the language. It is also for your health in your family, for your recovery, for strength, for understanding, for humility. It was also prayers for the elders to take their seats in their families, because that is so important that you sit in your own family groups as the elder and take that role seriously, and then to come together as a tribe and you have your seats as elders. This is very important for us to have this in our as we journey forward in this reawakening, this rediscovering of who we are through our language. And it's very, very important that we honor our ways that were given to us. To me, I see this cloth as a reminder of my responsibilities that I have to empower the elders and empower our language and to find our way through this life, but being authentic, Nahewan. And I just, every day I'm learning something so amazing about our language, and I'm sure you guys have learned a lot here about your language, our language. So what we do with this cloth, when you get back to your home fires, I was told you hang them in the trees, and those are there to cover your lineage, your family. And there was many different prayers for each cloth. It represents something different. I don't know exactly everything, but I know it's health, and it's for our language, and it's for who we are, for our connection to Creator to be stronger. And when we pray together, we are of that one mind when we're praying, and we're connected. So, like growing up as a Christian in a Christian household, my grandmother, my mother, like I just don't see a difference. If that makes sense. All of us, I think, have been touched in our lives through Christianity, through the residential school, day school, whatever, right? But we already knew what to do. Our ancestors knew what to do, right? So it was like so easy for us to convert or whatever, right? But this is us. This is for us, Nehiwan. This is our gift from Creator. So I just want you guys to understand the meaning of this gift and what you need to do with it. And I wanted to set up a challenge of prayer in our community, and to put that on you all as elders, to pray daily in the morning, 15 minutes before you get out of bed. Pray for our recovery. Pray for our language to come back. Pray for that spirit of our language to come back in our children, so they can carry forward and be stronger than we were and to know more than we did. and for the health of our community, for the health of our elders. We need so much. We all know what we see every day and what we deal with, right? And I just want those prayers to be together from the elders, and maybe let's set a time. I know most elders get up at 5 a.m. Maybe at 7, every day, 7 a.m. 7 a.m., it's time to pray, and I know all the other elders are praying. And pray together. You know, it doesn't have to be physically together, but all of you are praying from the same place. And let's see what happens. Let's see what happens in 40 days. Let's see what Creator can do for us. And I think that's all I have to say about that. Ksama, thank you all so much for being here.
Pray 40 days for Sandy to speak Cree in 40 days. Let's see if it works. Anyway, it's beautiful. And I think that's one of the elements that are missing in our modern day today is that atuskiwin. Atuskiwin is not just the work that we've been told to do here, what Moniao calls atuskiwin. You have spiritual atuskiwin. Every one of us have spiritual and physical responsibilities. But this physical responsibility sometimes is the only thing we know because that this world that's the only thing they taught us. Everything that our elders, our ancestors used to teach us was taken away. But let me show you this. In order for miopematuin, for wahkuhtuin, kiskimisuin, nihiawituin, ikokayas nihiawin. Kayas nihiawin is what you're seeing today when people are talking about energy, talking about wellness, talking about all this stuff. This was not new. It's not new to us. It's not new to me. But it's new to some people, this energy of karma and all this other stuff. I've always knew that there was laws like that, like Ochiniwin. Our elders talked about them. But today it's new for some people, this karma and all this energy understandings that are coming across social media. But our people always knew it. So what I'm saying, what the grandfather said to me, Wawi sanusim, kayas nihiyo na mo itakuhtimaga. He said to me, grandson, prepare yourself. The old way is coming back. And so, Yaguma, what I'm sharing today, the old way is in that language. But it seems new for people, but it's really old information which is new today. And I think it's coming in just at the right time when this world is kind of going up in chaos. And so, this information that our people and our ancestors knew, if you put that into your life and understand that you are part of a creation and you're all connected and it works as a network, this life, then you will be okay. But if you think you're above this creation and that the Creator put things here for your use to destroy and do whatever you want to do with it, then you will not make this what's coming. That's what the old man said. And so children choose their parents. You come dancing into this life from the spirit world. You choose your parents. You came with sawitaugsuna. You came with blessings and gifts. That's why you're born, is to come and share those blessings and these gifts into this world. Kisawitaugsuna, you had those. But they weren't allowed to grow here in this time and space because we weren't allowed to grow them. Many of us suffer today because we did not share those gifts that we had because of the life that we had to live in this time and space. Kis kinawa sohki mo na ho he. Pasket yawi na. We call those ones kapasket yawin kigway. When you have earned that stripe, whether it's a sacred knowledge or a ceremony or something that helps people, pasketas tayo, you don't see it. It's a spiritual wrap, a gift, a blanket, a kup. And you got these stripes. All these stripes, the Creator recognizes. We call them pasketiawiona. You got them from the other side into the spirit world and you shared them here. Destiny walk of the spirit world teachings and the destiny path and parents. The spirit need to agree to the education. For as far as I went in my education, I had to agree with it. Not everybody is going to agree with this education. That's why they didn't take it. That's why they didn't go far. They didn't like it. Their spirit didn't like it. It's not because they were failures and they didn't know how to do it. It's because their spirit did not feel comfortable in that space. The spirit has to agree if you're going to learn this education system today that is man-made. And many of our kids do not want to be in that classroom because their spirits do not agree. And they're waking up. And these kids have gifts. Those gifts need to be mentored and guided. I have met many gifted children in these schools I worked. Even parents that did not recognize that gift in their kid, I seen it. And I had a couple of parents asking me about their what's happening to their children because they're scared to talk about it with anybody else. You understand, Ralph. I'll tell you, you understand. So I'll tell you what's happening with my child and what he's seeing and what he's doing. And I had to tell him, a lot of these kids are going to be born into this world today, and they're coming. These star children, they're coming because it's the time to understand again that we are spiritual people. We're not just physical people. We are spiritual people, and we came from the spirit world. And Nistis talked about the Pleiades, the 7 sisters, yesterday. There's a Cree name for that. But only people understand the Pleiades today. And all these designs he was showing you, those are markers and symbols, the story of our people. It's written up there. And if you go to Jasper and you look at the mountains, Jim Ochi says, see that? Hinahanit and Naksim. My son-in-law, you see that? Do you see that pipe over there? I said, uh-huh. Then he starts telling me that story about that pipe. Do you see that little boy over there in that mountain? I said, uh-huh. So I'll tell you a story about that boy. Do you see that man's face? Yeah, it looks like a chief's face on sideways. Did you see it? Yeah, uh-huh. I'll tell you a story about that one. And can I sit there and listen to these stories? They're marked, and she said, they're marked in our land, my son-in-law, the story of our people. And man did not put it there. The Creator put it there. It's written in the land who we are. We don't need it in a book. It's written in the land, he said. And I said to him, well, what is our governance system? What's our constitution? He said, the pipe is our constitution. And the laws in there, that's our constitution. We don't have a constitution like they do over there, and it's all written. That's all man-made. This constitution we have, the Creator gave it to us. And so this is what they say. When he says Creator, I understand. It's not like there's a man sitting up there giving all this stuff. No, I don't think like that. I think of the Creator, He's in everything. He's everywhere. He's inside you. You are part of Creator. You're a small creator. He has given you all that blessing and that life and that power to create. So I look at the Creator's in everywhere. He's in everything. He's in every plant and every strata of grass out there. When I look at him like that, I know he's everywhere. I can flip it and say, he's only one. He's up there. I can flip it again and say, he's everywhere. So I understand the Creator like that. I don't look at myself and think that he doesn't want me or else I'll never go home. I know I'll go home because I'm part of him. I'm the light that is part of him. I have to go back. It can't go any other way. But there are things here that you got to finish. And the old people say, kitatuskiwin. Did you finish kitatuskiwin? And so, this job we have, kihtiais, and the name tells you, kihtiais tiyo magia. Yeah, how old are you? 40. Oh, tanig man nakita som siskiyap sa kay 6 ko. Kihtiais so magia. Go into that write a passage. Learn about that seat. This life is not about you only. This life is about a seat. Punaw huhag wihuna. Uhtawi, nikawi, nstis. His heart is older than mine. Nistis tistamag. Uti is harder than mine, is older than mine. Nistis, my brother. They all have a seat and a law. That ustisimao we call the heart, the oldest heart in the lineage, which is the oldest brother. Ustisimao. You hear that sound? Ti, mitihi. He's the oldest one of the lineage. So he's got spiritual and physical responsibilities. Omao. You hear that mao there? It's tied in with ogawi mao, tawi mao, omao. You have responsibilities not only physically, spiritually too, to your siblings. It's a seat, puno muma. And every time you go into a seat like Nichakus, my fellow star being, then you treat that fellow star being like that. If you nitihkwatim, the one that grazes my blood, then you treat that nitihkwatim and understand it's the blood. That's why you call him nitihkwatim. Ikitihkaha, your blood. And if you say nistim, you understand kistimawa. Estestistama, he's going to produce lineage in your family. That's why kakistimat, you shouldn't even be talking to her. Hiko kakistimat o kistim. I don't talk to my daughter-in-law. My daughter-in-law talks to me, hey, Ralph. Oh, okay, what? I can't do nothing. I can't send her away. I can't tell her, didn't your mom teach you right? No, I can't say that. I just have to talk to her and listen to her. And there's no, it's not for me to sit her down and say, do you understand you're not supposed to talk to me? No, it's too late for that. We got to use compassion. We got to guide with compassion and nice words and loving language if the young people are going to understand. Because you know what? They're very touchy today. And even old people are touchy. You get mad right away when you try to tell them something. We're all really touchy. So we need nurturing. We need nurturing education, not the way we're teaching direct and telling people how to understand things. We need to guide. We need to nurture. Kagi to katuwin. Kagagi piagon katutatuya. That's the long word. Kagi to katuwin. Huh?
Teaching by action.
Anything that is required that has gentleness. just like the grandmother.
So that's action.
Yeah.
I think that goes
Action.
a lot longer,
The way we treat each other, yeah, and our people, even our sister. I sat my kids down and I said, you know what? And they were already adults. This has to stop, I said. You guys fight each other just like you're not related and you're not sister and brother. And when I see your friend over here running around, what do you want? What do you want, bro? You treat your friend better than your sister or brother. This is going to stop. I get tahamawas yan. And they just put their heads down. You're right, Dad. I want you to tell your brother that you love him. I want you to tell your sister that you protect her and help her what she wants. That's how I want you guys to treat each other. Then treat the other ones just the same way too, like the way you don't change anything with your friends, because I see a lot of love there. But you can't seem to give it to your own relative. And so, tahamawas yan. And it's changed. Because every time I see something, I sit down here. Now I gotten so much, my brother, Ralph, come over here. Wilson's not listening. So how was I'm not tired at this, trying to fix my brother's kids and everybody else. Because they're dependent on me. And these young nephews will sit down and they're not listening. And then my brother would say, they never sit down like that, they're only with you. Because I've been doing it since they were kids, that's why. If you try to do it right now with a teenager, you've never done it before, they're just going to look at you and say, "What?" and listen to you. Because you've never done it. If you expect respect for right away, this because you're old and you've never done it, they're not going to do it. This is something that happens until they understand, oh, Ralph is coming, I better straighten out. That's what my nephews do. Whether they're in a rink, whether in a bar, or anywhere. Because I'm not afraid to tell them, don't do that. No, so it's a job because that's who I am. Because my uncle Alec taught me. Whenever I seen Alec, I would smarten up. My mom says, hey, I knew Alec didn't care about what I feel. He's going to discipline me. And he can still come to my house and laugh about it. And I'd be there and just still mad at him. But he doesn't care. That's Alec. That's the uncle's job. But today, the uncle can't do that because the parents will come after him. And the woman too, the auntie, that's her job. Is to discipline and tell these kids in her lineage. And the parent, they wouldn't even say nothing in traditional times. They would be saying, they'd be so happy that the uncle or aunt is disciplining their kids. Today, they say, hey, this is my kid. So it's different. It's about me today. It's not about the entire family. It's about me today. It's not about the entire community. It's about me today. It's not about people. So this education and this way of life of understanding things has gotten us so far away from what our people taught before a long time ago. And that's where we're heading all back to. We just made a detour about 200 years and like this, but we're going back into this road. That's all it's done. So I believe that way. And I know our children are going to get back what they need within the next decade or two. We got to lay the groundwork. Yeah? Yes, we can do it right now if you guys want. What time is it? 1? Yeah. I don't want to get tired. My heels are actually I'm hurting. I've been standing like this 3 or 4 days, like my ankles are starting to hurt. And my heels, because I had plantar fasciitis, and I can feel that a little bit. Not as bad, but let's go another hour. Is that okay? Another hour. Are you guys another hour, and then we'll close it off? Half hour? Okay. Half hour.
What are we doing? Are we gonna,
We can have a discussion, yeah. Yeah. Huh? Yeah. So there's many ways to learn your language. Let's talk about Tanse. What do I start tomorrow with my language journey? So, if you know how to speak the language, you just got to revisit and start looking at it. Tanse sa Toskimiga, how it works. And wah, kawapa, tabanin a word, or else when you hear wah, you ought to look at all the words that have wah sound, like wapan, wasiao, waste, wah wah, wawe. This wah sound is talking about light. And so then you say, ku. Then you got to find all the words that have ko, kum, ko, kos, everything that has that ko sound. Then you'll figure out what it's talking about. It's maternal energy, it's kukum energy. Tu. When you hear that word tu, then you look at all the words that have that tu sound, and then you start to find out, oh, tu tatuin, the physical thing. And then when you put it all together, wa ko tuin. This is a unity of spiritual energy that is guarded by the grandmother and how we interact within it. If I were to translate it in English, the closest. It's the unity of all lives interconnected in this space with energy. That's Wakotuin. And it involves all the cosmos, everything that you can see around you. That's what we call Askipematsuin. That's the first world that my brother was talking about. The second world is where our grandfathers and grandmothers live. And you can get to that one too with practice and devotion and all that stuff. The third level is where the angels live. We call these ones Ogisiguag. You can get there too. They can visit you. You know, it's a blessing when an angel chooses you to do work here on the ground for them. You don't choose them, they choose you. The grandfathers, you can ask them to choose you, and you can get a grandfather with proper ceremony and proper guidance. But you can never get those angels. They got to choose you. And so sometimes they choose people to help other people. And they give them the gifts to be able to explain these things so people might have a chance to understand. And so I remember when this happened to me, well, I got to go do a fast, 4 days. I'm doing a fast. You got to go do this, grandson. 1C, so you know where else Mustapag, I was being guided. Okay, I'm going to do it. And as I was preparing, all you got to do is do work. You don't need to go do that. And so I said, oh, what am I supposed to do then? Just do what you have to do. Learn, Homa. Go back home, grandson. They came and got me for idle no more. Come on, we're going to go protest in Saskatoon. I started preparing. I'm going to go protest too. Moya knows to me, you stay home. You stay with the ceremonies. Oh. And those men got mad at me. You're not going to come with us? No. You're so comfortable, you don't think you don't need anything anymore. This house you live in is so beautiful, you're okay. They started giving me shit there. And after they gave me shit, I'm renting this house. That person, Darlene Littlebear's the one, this is her house. And she goes, oh. So, I say, you're there already. You have you don't need to. The Creator's always with you. All you got to do is start doing the spiritual work, like the prayers and everything else. You don't need to go chasing people. Once you start working, people will come to you for guidance. But the journey is to put all things together that you're going to need. And it's also, and so you'll know what you need. And as you go forward, you'll pick up these things. By the time you're 60 or 70 and 80, you have all these things. And one day, you finish your work, the gifts that you were supposed to give. And that's how it is. That's all it is. And Ogis, and then you grow. My grandfather said, there's a home fire right here, and there's a home fire here that you see physically. This has to be bright in order for this to be bright. So how do I make that then? Grandfather, how do I do that? You have to nurture the old people and the ancestors. And you have to nurture the babies and the children here in the physical world. If this fire is bright, everything else in the middle will be okay. That's what he said. The reason why life is hard for people today is because the children and the old people are suffering. Fix that, and everything else will be okay. That's what he said to me. So I encourage people, start looking at Awasisag. Awasisag is a light. It's a bright being. Start looking at Kisi Nuwag. Kisi Nuwag is not just men. It's women too. Kisi Nu is a compassionate person. And so look after them. Look after the children. And that brightness and that light that you need to improve your lives in here, the people that are in here, their life will become bright. Your life will be okay. We're forgetting the old people and the children. A grandfather said, "Kayas ni Heo ito timaga. Uki ko mama kayas ni Heo and Harry Blackbird kita o sino. Kiko kayas ni Heo." He said, "Oh, kayas. He said, he said, "I'll tell you one thing. I don't really know what it is, but my grandfather said," he said, and he was 95 years old at the time when I was speaking to him. He was in his 90s before he passed away. He said, "My grandfather," so right away I was thinking, like about 150 years back. Knowledge, I know, so his grandfather. So this is coming from the 1700s, this information. He said his grandfather told him that he heard stories that the people long time ago were so spiritual that even themselves, when they talk to people, when they talk to their own people, they talk to everything, the plants, the clothes, everything. They talk to it in a gentle, spiritual way. That's how spiritual they were, he said. Maybe that's kayas ni Heon, he told me. And so I was wondering, sitting there, my grandfather, Nahastamaso miupmatso nusim, he said. "Put away good blessings for yourself, my grandchild," he said to me. And I said to him, "Well, what is that? How do you do that?" He told me, "Look over this way." And I looked over this way. There was a little baby there. And there was a real old person right beside that old baby, that little baby. And then the oldest to the youngest, they were sitting like this. Imagine that on the wall over here. The baby and the child. He said to me, "Umsi sama." This is the way. If you want to put good blessings away, nusim, bis hawasag is the first one. The second ones are the old people. And then, tansis tahto ponichik. Tansis tahto ponichik, he says, from the oldest to the youngest. That's how you look after people, serving those people. When you serve people like that, he said to me, you put away this, and I call it, he didn't say that, but I call this, you put away spiritual currency. And that man up there, the one that's keeping track of this money that you're putting away, this spiritual currency, he doesn't miss a thing. He's even better than the accountants down here. So when you do something for somebody and take care of those people that way, he doesn't miss anything. You put this good energy away. And then he said, no, Simon, then when you need it, maybe it's for health, maybe you got stuck here, or maybe when it's your time to go and you got to cross this before you get to the light, that's where you use it. That's when he'll withdraw this currency. Maybe, he said, you'll put enough of so much away that you'll help your relatives that are stuck right here get to the light because you put away so much. You had so much of that energy, that currency, that blessing energy, that you can help those ones that are stuck here, because many of our relatives are stuck in between these two worlds. Lots. And so we will end there. I will say again, this is what I have interpreted with my own little mind and stuff like that. I don't profess this is the way you should understand things. Muito yan, I know anything, or this is the way you're supposed to believe things. I'm only sharing my knowledge, how I understand things. You take it. If you can use it, use it. If it's not useful for you, put it aside over here. I'm not here to teach. I'm here to to reawaken that memory maybe that had went to sleep. That's all I'm here to do. And the rest is up to you, how you journey forward to get language in your lineage. And it's not just about language. Language is just one part. The most important thing is kittuin, sound. Because sound produces three things. One thing that it produces is remember your songs. The other thing it produces is it produces this language, this sound. And the other thing it produces is Hi, my relative, happiness, joy. But it can also produce geswasun. And my brother yesterday demonstrated if I was mad, my energy would just affect you guys. And I see a lot of people using that energy today to discipline other people or even their children. You scare that spirit out of them when you use that. So gentleness, manachihituin, even if you just start with respect and manachihituin to teach children, they'll understand love, compassion, and truth, courage, bravery, and wisdom as they travel forward. Because they all work together, those grandfather teachings. So even if you just demonstrate one with them every day, you have done a lot of work and a lot of good currency is put away So, kita skat na wow. Aya, he komina na nas kumun utahi pigyukya nasamina to share a little bit, just a little bit of this knowledge. I don't know nothing, but I have a little bit. There are so many out there that have a lot of knowledge. Lots. Even in your community, if you search for them, they don't come out. You got to go look for them. They're not the ones that say, hey, I got knowledge, I want to come and speak. No. These people, they stay in their home. You got to go ask, visit. I visited some people that people not normally visit, and I always find wisdom. There's this guy called Cowboy. You ever hear of Cowboy? Who knows Cowboy? He goes around treaty meetings and all over the place. Yeah. I go sit with him over there, and Cowboy, kamusta win? Here, tobacco. Kamusta win? The way he is, eh? He starts telling me profound things that I thought I wouldn't query. Not about the treaty, not about what people are talking about profound things that he carries, and nobody knows. Because they're all looking at these high-profile people and not somebody that might be blessed with so much. So we have lots of people like that. They come in different stripes, and they come from different families. And sometimes they're not from prominent families, but they got gifts and wisdom. And so we must utilize and find a way to utilize those people and bring them into the circle. But most of all, it's your lineage that you need to work on. If you value the language, walk it. And I don't mean that you should go harass your family members to learn Cree. That's not how you do it. It's you walk it and they'll follow you. I follow singing my brothers. I have 10 brothers and stuff like that. Round dance singing. They never did that before, and still I started doing it. Now they all follow. There's a lot of nephews and nieces and all that. We didn't have powwow dancers in Big River before 1987. Now we have hundreds of them because they followed. Many of them are my family members. Whatever you do, they'll follow you. I got 8 children. A lot of them have university degrees. 3 of them have masters. 1 has a PhD. And they're working in different communities. They will follow you, your children, what you do. And so that's what you want to do with this language. If you just learn it, demonstrate, and all of a sudden you're speaking, they say, oh my goodness, you're speaking Cree now? You just be standing there like, You know? Not say nothing to them, just they'll follow you. You know, so it's good. Kita tamskate na kakyo. Yeah.
I just want to say thank you for all your knowledge you shared with us. Like, I'm not trying to cut you off.
No, but
Well,
I'm going to
kind
give you
of,
these mics anyways. And
Like, you know,
do what, yeah.
kind of.
Say what you need to say and share what you...
Does anyone want to say anything? Alice? Oh, Sylvia? We